What's up, guys? Today I want to tell you about a special thing that I learned about a little while ago. It was pretty cool. It's called an F1000. It is a truck that was apparently only made in Brazil by Ford, and the truck was made by Ford. The engines were made by MWM, I believe, which is a German factory that makes engines and stuff. I have notes here on my phone, which I don't have pulled up because, you know, I'm not professional whatsoever. But it was actually a really cool truck and a really cool design, I think. And actually, I don't know if it's just the uniqueness, but it's pretty cool. The F1000 was, as I said, a truck made in Brazil that was a Ford truck, and it was spanned through like the 70s all the way into the 90s and so on, and they had many different variations. They had the pickup truck, they had Bronco type kind of thing, and then they had something that I could only say is kind of akin to a Centurion, if you know what that is. Very funky. I'll put images up for all of these. I think it was called it was a weird name. It was like a GB something, and I'm not really sure. But what I really want to talk about today is the lineup of the engines, because in the original you had, I think in like 70s, you had a 3.9 4-cylinder diesel, naturally aspirated. It didn't have anything, it was just straight up clag-a-lag diesel, and it was really cool. Made like no horsepower. I think it made like 83 or something like that. And then so you had that truck. I'll probably put up an image up here. I think I can find all of the images here and there and there. So it's pretty cool. Now, in the 80s, they came out with a 3.6 gasser engine that was a straight 6. Now keep in mind, the 3.9 was a 4-cylinder engine. This 3.6 gasser is a 6-cylinder engine, straight 6. So that 4-cylinder's got some pretty big pistons in my opinion, but the straight 6 was actually designed to run off of ethanol or fuel or alcohol. Apparently people said that you could just put whatever you wanted in it that was flammable and run it off of it, which is pretty impressive. They sounded like pretty robust engines. They did not sport that much horsepower though. I think they bumped up to like only 90, something like that. It was pretty close to the original 3.9 diesel, and it was meh. And until then, they had been working with 4 speeds. All of the trucks had 4 speeds, and then towards like 86, they moved on and added a 5-speed into the 3.6 straight 6 model. And that gave it a really better ratio of shifting and gave you a little bit more power, because, you know, gears mean things. You need different gear ratios, and that's, you know, that's how trucks these days get so much better fuel mileage with the 10-speed transmissions and all that. Now, what really is interesting is in the 90s, which is where all of the fun diesel things happened, where they finally started to figure out, you know, turbo diesel. I mean, it had been a thing way before then, but in the 90s, they got the 3.9 out and they turboed it. And that is where it gets really awesome. So, we've already found out about the original naturally aspirated 3.9, and then the 3.6, which was a straight 6 gas engine that ran off of pretty much anything flammable. Now, we have the 3.9 that was reintroduced in the 1990s version that was turboed but not intercooled, making 119 horsepower, which was a big jump up. Combine that with the 5-speed and you had yourself a really neat truck. Now, as for the other Brazilian things, like, there's a bunch of stuff I'll probably put up. There's a bunch of interesting things, but that's for another time. The F1000 lives to be a completely, the front end, all of the rest of the truck was pretty much the same, but the front end was distinguished. And if you want to get your hands on one of these, I'm afraid I don't think you can, because importation from Brazil is very difficult and dang near unheard of from what I've seen online. There may be, like, I'm just a scavenger online. I'm sure there's actual, like, ways to get stuff into the US and stuff from that, but as far as I can tell, not really possible. So it's kind of sad, but dude, man, does that truck look good. And I think, I don't know, I think it looks awesome. It is really cool. So, yep, that's all I got for today. I just thought that the F1000 was pretty cool, because everybody's always like, F1000? What? F1000? Yeah, no, it's real, and it exists, and it's really cool, because it's got a little 4-cylinder diesel in it. And come on, who doesn't like a turboed 4-cylinder diesel? Anyway, that's all for today. Goodbye.